Welcome back to Cosmic Consciousness with King Prophet, and tonight's topic is: do you think the Bible has helped humans grow spiritually?
Okay, this is a very awesome. This is another good question because it may ruffle a few feathers, but I'm only speaking from the heart and I'm just telling you my perspective of what I see. And then I'm also going to prove a few points just to let you see that what I'm saying makes a lot of sense, whether you accept it or not. That's not my job. My job is just to give you this information and let you decipher it for yourself. It's going to teach you how to think, to critically think for yourself without being conditioned by old school beliefs. Okay? Now, do I think that the Bible has helped humans grow spiritually? Now, religion has been around for a while, and the Bible has been around for a while. From my perspective, looking at the world, doesn't seem like religion is working when it comes to this evil that runs this planet. Honestly speaking, like I said, think for yourself. Is religion working against this force of evil that is on this planet? And it has been around for a very, very long time. Now, my perspective to that is this: when it comes to the Bible is a very knowledgeable and educational book. I have nothing against the Bible because I have read it. Okay, so when you read things, what's going to happen is if you critically think for yourself, you're going to try to make sense of it. Okay, that's what you do. You're going to try to make sense of it. And if you can't make sense of it, guess what you're going to do? Go to church on Sunday and ask your reverend and see if he can make sense of it to you. That's what you're gonna do. That's the only way you're gonna get your answer. If you can't do it for yourself, you're gonna go get it from somebody else. Okay? Now, with that being said, when it comes to the Bible, I'm gonna give you a point about the Bible. In the Bible, it says God is a jealous God. Now, isn't jealousy one of the most seven deadly sins? Now, for those people that have been conditioned to believe in God through the Bible, I know what you're going to do. You're going to justify your way of believing what that jealousy meant. Everything is your interpretation of how you think it meant. Now, regardless of how you think it meant, that's just your interpretation. 9 times out of 10, your interpretation is coming from a perspective that is groomed through religion. And y'all know it is. I don't even know why y'all argue with this stuff. You know it is. Because that is just a common sense question. If jealousy is a sin and God is a jealous God, that's confusing. And it's confusing to just the normal person just trying to understand it. That's confusing. The Bible is full with a lot of these type of scenarios. It is. I can I can go on, but I'm not on here to go on about that. My whole point is I'm trying to show you that how religion has more or less stunted most human spiritual growth than helped it. Another thing, why do people think the Bible is the sole word of God, but Jesus didn't even use it? Or Jesus didn't even talk about a Bible. Jesus never spoke of a Bible. So, once again, This Bible was written by other men that Jesus didn't even have nothing to involve with. And I'm going to tell you something else that I think that's really interesting. It's funny to me that people won't do what Jesus said, but they'll follow the Bible. Jesus said, the kingdom of heaven is within you. Raise your consciousness to the Christ consciousness. I've said this plenty of times. There are very few Christians, or anybody by that fact, that I've met that haven't told me that they've raised their consciousness to the Christ consciousness and that they found the kingdom of heaven within them, the God within themselves. And this is where the problem comes, I think, personally, with the Bible. If you believe in the Bible, you cannot reach the Christ consciousness, or you cannot attain it through the Bible. You know why? Because they say that Christ is perfect and you are not. This is what most people in the Bible believe. There is no such thing as a perfect human. I just want to let you know that. If we're only here to learn and grow, you didn't know everything when you first came to this planet. Nobody ever knew it all when they first came to this planet. You learn things. So this notion of thinking that he was without mistakes, it's not logical. But you guys will believe this because this is what you were taught. Now I'm going to say something else to show you that you are very closed-minded, that you're not open-minded at all. A lot of people, religious people, think that they're open-minded, but they're not. And I'm going to show you how they're not. The first thing that I can show you that they're not open-minded, which adds to the problem that's going on this planet right now. Not being open-minded to seeing things from other people's perspective. It's really what a lot of this is. You don't know how to raise your consciousness. Your consciousness is stuck in the lower vibration of just the physical plane. A lot of you don't want to admit it. That's okay. We're in that age now, and the shift has occurred. So if you're not shifting consciously to this understanding or learning this way of life, which is in tune through the spirit, then hey, you're going to get left behind. It is what it is. Now, if you look at something from one perspective, which most people look at God and the Bible as the only way of connecting to God. The Bible is the only one. It's the Word of God. Okay. Now, isn't that kind of limiting yourself to one perspective of seeing things? It is. Now, you say you believe in an all-supreme being, God. I'm going to ask you a question. Is this God a creator? The one you believe in, is he a creator? Is he or is he not a creator? Of course he's a creator. Now my question to you is, if you only look at the Bible as the only way to getting to God, my only saying to you is this: how can you be created? By being limited. You're limiting yourself to one way of getting to God, but yet you know that God is a creator. You think a creator is going to limit one way to get to him. Jesus already told you how to get to him, which is to go within yourself. Instead of you stressing this in the Bible and following Jesus's word, because that's Jesus's way. Jesus' way is to go within and to raise your consciousness. Everything outside of that is a religious perspective, and y'all know it. So this is why I think personally that religion stunts people's spiritual growth. Because it limits you. You can't think outside of the box about God. God is limited to a book. Now, we all know that the Bible has been tampered with. Throughout history, certain books have been left out. So if it's been tampered with and books have been left out, it is safe to say that, hey, some of this stuff may not be true or is being used for a control mechanism. Because obviously somebody took the books out and somebody put certain books in there. Not going to say any names, Vatican, but anyway, they did it. So you're just going to take what they say, what they put in a book for you to follow how to get to God, instead of taking Jesus's route, which is to go within yourself and to raise your consciousness to the Christ consciousness. Now you see why religion has not yet worked in helping humans grow spiritually? This is why. And I know you can see it. You just don't want to see it because you've been groomed to think this book is the only way to God when Jesus already told you the way to God is within. Now, I'm going to tell you something else that a lot of you religious people don't believe. You don't believe that heaven can be on earth. You don't. And guess what? I'm going to show you how you're missing the boat. Since you don't believe that heaven can be on earth, then you're not going to experience heaven on earth. Heaven comes from within. You're living on this earth. So if you can connect from within, you will already be having your heaven on earth because you're living by a whole new set of rules and a whole new way of life that supersedes the physical. You guys are still stuck in the physical and you won't admit it. Religion is a physical thing. It's not a spiritual thing. So, until you learn how to connect to your own spirit within, you're going to be getting messages how to get to God from without. Sounds like a middleman to me. So, once again, through the Bible's teachings, it teaches you to believe. Believe in God. And there's nothing wrong with believing God. That's just like believing in being positive and being a positive person. There's nothing wrong with that. But if there's a source that is in you, that placed a bit of himself in you, why don't you connect to that and learn how to get to heaven or learn about the spiritual way? Why don't you try that route? Because religion hasn't worked, and it hasn't worked for hundreds of years. And this is a reality that you just need to come into terms with within yourself. Eventually you will, if you pay attention to things and you're not so caught up in the matrix. Like I said, there's another reality presenting itself right in front of y'all's face, but you can't see it because once again, you're more caught up in the 3D, the three-dimensional reality. Do you realize that there are like 12 dimensions? And the majority of the human race is still stuck in 3? And another thing, they don't want to learn about this. You know you have a spiritual side. Then if you know you have a spiritual side, why aren't you trying to educate your spiritual side? Why aren't you trying to learn how to go within yourself? Why aren't you learning about energy, frequency, vibration, consciousness? That's what Christ talked about. Consciousness. Are you learning about this in the Bible? You know they don't teach this. Ask yourself why. Maybe they don't want you to know. They don't want you to think for yourself. They don't want you to connect to your own God self. Once again, which is what Jesus' teachings was. So here you guys are following a book that was written by a man that has been tampered with throughout the ages, and you calling it the way. Once again, it's just the book. It's a tool to getting you to the bridge. Don't forget, you still have to cross the bridge. Meaning whatever it is that you took from the Bible or you learned, whatever it is, you still have to apply it and you have to live by it daily. But see, the thing of it is You guys, in a biblical perspective and religion, you don't believe that you're gods. I don't know why. You came from God. You're a child of God. You know why you don't believe? Because you haven't learned how to connect to God. Now, instead of you saying this, you will argue and you will get upset and you will try to battle and you'll go back and forth with this one book, the Bible, which I've already explained to you all the things that have happened to it throughout the years. To me, it's smart to educate yourself and just not go by what you've been taught. A lot of people are still holding on to this belief because it's what they were taught. The reason why I know is because I was taught it. I'm in the same world as you. I kind of grew up the same way the majority of you have. Going to church, reading the Bible, and then not questioning nobody or your parents or nothing about the Bible. It was just how we was raised, so that's how we was raised. I get all that, but it doesn't make it right. And that's the thing. Religious people argue all the time amongst themselves. The majority of them I know, they be arguing all the time about God. You're not supposed to argue about God. You're supposed to be able to talk to God in any setting. That's where true spirituality comes from. That's when you know you're connected to your God within, because it's not going to faze you for other people to talk about God and how, they believe or whatever. You're going to respect it. And you're going to, acknowledge their perspective and show respect. That's what you're supposed to do. You're not supposed to go off thinking that, they're lost and they can't find their way just because they're not following the Bible. This is one of the reasons why religion has failed for so many years, because most of you are running around trying to make people believe stuff that you don't even believe yourself, because half of y'all don't even believe that you're gods. And you don't even believe that you can be like Christ when Christ himself said, things I've done, you can do as well, even greater. But you do not think that, because you think Christ is perfect and you are not, and y'all know this. So how are you ever going to be on this level if you can't even think to be on that level? So how are you going to really believe that you're a God if you can't connect to the God within your own self? I mean, you just got to think. But y'all don't think. You're too caught up in the physical world. I got to go to work. I got to make this money. I got to do this. I got to do that. They have you occupied like crazy, and y'all know it. But times have changed. That's why they're having an awakening now. This is an awakening phase. Everybody's waking up seeing truth now. It's just time for religion to wake up and see it too. When they say it's an awakening, that means it's time for religious people to wake up too. You guys have been asleep for a very long time because you haven't been following anything that Christ has said. You've been following the Bible. If you guys just for once in your life, just follow Christ's way, which is going in yourself, learning about consciousness, learning about energy, learning about frequency, vibration, learning how to raise it. This is the level that we're moving to. And if the majority of you on this planet don't have no desire and interest in that, then guess what? Then you will not go. Because I'm going to tell you right now, I can see heaven on earth. I see it. I see everybody, when they raise their consciousness, they will be on that level. And then they will be able to unite, because it's a collective consciousness. The Creator is in all of us. But you have to connect to the one within you before you can connect to everybody else. That's why it's good to know yourself. That's why I say the majority of you don't even know yourselves. You just know what you've been taught. And until you come to the realization of that, you will be stuck in this physical world and in that low vibration. This is a consciousness thing that's going on. When it says the beginning, the world's going to end, yeah, the end of this negative low frequency consciousness that's been holding the human race down, and you cannot elevate and go within yourself and connect to who you really are in the spirit of God. So, once again, I'm about to end this. That was my wife. She popped in. Y'all saw her. But anyway, I'm about to end this by saying you have to open your mind nowadays, and you have to see beyond what you have been taught. This is the only way out. That's why we say the only way out is in. Learn how to go within yourself. Because if you don't, trust me, this outside world, it's going to draw you in, and you're going to stay watching the news. You're going to stay in the negativity. You're going to stay caught up in all this presidential drama, the same old stuff that I don't know why y'all can't see this as the same old play. It's been going on for so many years. I don't know see why y'all don't see this. I really don't. It's right in front of your face. You got people running around talking about demons and just putting demon devil stuff right in your face. This stuff has been put more in your face now than it ever has. I ain't saying it never existed. It was always there. It's like they say, hidden in plain sight. Some of us can see it. The majority of you are so caught up in your minds are gone. They got you gone. You don't even see it. And then when you hear people like us talk, then you either going to walk away or you don't want to hear it, and you rather talk about something else. And this is where the separation is coming between the worlds. People are separating. You got those that see what's really going on, and you got those that see and they don't care. Or they just care about other things. They're not really involved in seeing this shift. When they know something is gone, the world has changed. They know this. So, I hadn't been on here for a while, so this is why I stayed a little bit longer this time, just to kind of give you an idea of, just kind of what this world is like from the perspective of King Prophet. Now, I represent the light. So I'm only here to try to show you a different way how to see things to make it lighter. I'm on the same planet you are. I just look at it in a different consciousness. I'm not looking at it in a low vibration. I see heaven on earth. As a matter of fact, I'm in my own heaven on earth. If you really want to know the truth. I got a roof over my head. I got food. I got a beautiful wife that loves me. A beautiful little niece. I mean, everything's good. Got my health. So heaven on earth is how you see it. It's not based upon material things, which is what the physical world has groomed your mind to think. So you better start working on that spirit and raising your consciousness, because it's coming fast. It's already happening. And a lot of you are going to be left behind if you don't start getting to work. And stop worrying about that physical world, because you see that physical world is a mess. And it's crumbling as we speak. Day by day, it's always something. Ain't y'all tired of listening to that same old story? Create your own. Go within yourself. Get caught up in yourself instead of getting caught up in the world. Get caught up in yourself and connecting to God and learning from that perspective. Learn inside out now. All y'all know is out in. It's time for y'all to learn how to live from here and out. And once you do that, guess what? We will all connect on that consciousness level. And guess what? We will have heaven on earth. Negativity won't rule because we'll be in a higher frequency. It can't survive in that frequency. Y'all know how negativity is around positive people. Most of them can't stand it. So anyway, I'm going to wrap it up now because, like I said, I've been on it a little longer than I thought. But you better find a time to stop and rest so you can pass heaven's test, or else the world will wear you down where you cannot hear the smallest sound. And it's wearing a lot of y'all down. I see it on news. I watch the news, but I don't get caught up in the news. But I don't watch it a lot. Like I said, or else this physical world will wear you down where you cannot hear the smallest sound. And when the Force speaks to you, you're going to miss the meaning and not follow through. So, raise your consciousness.